Hey guys, and welcome to the Endless Void, a very special live edition because we are now just 10 minutes away from the second ever launch of Blue Origin's massive New Glenn rocket. It was thwarted from its first attempt on Sunday because of it hit almost everything. Weather. There were some technical issues. There was even a Carnival cruise ship that got in the way. Then they were going to try again yesterday, but there was a solar storm. All those incredible auroras that you were able to see all the way down to Florida. Yeah, that kept them from launching again because inside the fairing of this New Glenn rocket is a very special NASA payload called ESCAPADE. 2 satellites that are bound for Mars. This rocket is going to be deploying them into a very special place in space called a Lagrange point where it's going to wait until Mars is a little bit closer to Earth and then make its journey to Mars. So we've got payloads going to Mars today. And then the other really big thing that's happening is Blue Origin is going to try to land its booster for the very first time on a ship off the coast of Florida called the Jacqueline, named after Jeff Bezos's mom. So if that happens, it is going to be just a massive, massive accomplishment. It's the thing I'm most excited to see. So with that, I'm just going to pop up the official Blue Origin live stream. Here we go. Nice. And before I go any farther, if you guys are watching this, can you please just tell me that like the video looks good, the audio sounds good, that you can hear me, because this is only my second ever live stream that I've done for my YouTube channel. I've done lots of live shots for CNN and Fox News, but this and like specifically doing it by myself is new for me. So if you're watching, drop a comment really quick and just let me know that everything's looking and sounding good. Let me just see where we are here. Okay, we are now 6 minutes away, 6 minutes and 24 seconds away from launch. All right, Dreaded, thank you. All good so far. Sweet. That's all I needed to hear. I just need one person to let me know that we're looking and sounding good. Had some technical issues going into this, so that's why I want to do this extra check. Let's just pop up what they are saying very quickly and listen in to what they're saying.
We actually flew it at 174,000 pounds of thrust for its first flight. And so that upgrade path is going to continue and continue. And we're very lucky that we can test at our test stand in West Texas, at our test stand at Marshall Space Flight Test Stand 4670 in California, and that we can test like we fly so that we're fully confident going into today's
All right,
mission.
so I'm just going to mute this for a second and talk a little bit because I have to tell y'all about, we spend so much time talking about the rockets, but let me assure you there's almost as much time spent going into this webcast, as much thought and planning as there is this rocket. Your two webcast hosts, the official hosts for the Blue Origin stream, are Ariane Cornell, Tabitha Lipkin. I had the privilege of working with them on the Blue Origin New Shepard NS-31 mission, the Katy Perry launched to space with Lauren Sanchez. And so the amount of rehearsals that have been done on the webcast side of things is unbelievable. But of course, that pales in comparison to the rocket that's launching today. So let's talk a little bit about this, what we're going to see over the next few minutes. We are now T-minus 4 minutes and 44 seconds away. I'm just going to pop this up so you guys can see what exactly we're going to be seeing over the next few minutes. Obviously, this is going to lift off hopefully faster than it did last time. It was a pretty slow liftoff last time from Cape Canaveral Space Force Space Station, right by the Kennedy Space Center, right near Cocoa Beach, Florida, on Florida's Space Coast. It's going to lift off. And of course, max Q, a few minutes into the mission, is going to be something to watch. Can the rocket withstand the peak forces that are pressed upon it by the atmosphere? And then the other big moment that we're going to be watching for is the booster return. That's 9 minutes and 9 seconds in. Can this booster land on a ship, the Jacqueline? in the middle of the water. Of course, SpaceX makes it look easy. They've been doing it for many, many years now. But if Blue Origin can do this, this is going to be such a massive win for this company. So we'll see if they can. Let me get rid of that and pop it up because we are now just 3 minutes and 30 seconds away. Hey, everybody, and thank you so much for watching. This is new for me. I'm trying to do more of these because I used to love doing live shots, and I want to do more for my new YouTube channel. So thank you for watching. As we sit here and watch this, I want to tell you a little story about the last time I was watching a New Glenn launch. I was there for the very first one in January, and the press site wasn't all that great in terms of just visual and access to the pad and the people that you want to have access to as a member of the press. So I decided I'd never seen a rocket launch actually from Cocoa Beach. I'd always been at the KSC press site, and it was launching at like 2 in the morning. So I rented an e-bike, and at 1 in the morning, like rode a beach e-bike down Cocoa Beach into like a crowd of people to watch this. And it was one of the coolest live launch experiences I've ever had, to be just surrounded by fans, space nerds on the beach at 2 a.m. watching a rocket fly for its maiden flight. It was so exciting, and it was flawless. I mean, I think there was one very brief hold in the countdown, but for a maiden flight of a rocket, for it to be that smooth was incredible. And so this countdown so far has been unbelievably smooth as well. I mean, I would just say you've had no weather delays today, no technical issues. They were fully fueled ahead of time. And now look at this. No holds going into approaching 1 minute and 30 seconds to liftoff. So I'm going to shut up and listen in and let the Blue Origin feed take over, because you guys are in good hands with Ariane Cornell and Tabitha Lipkin. Let's listen in.
Our friends here at Rocket Park. We are now, I have gotten the notification, we are on internal power. This is so exciting, Ariane. This is the moment. So that means we've transitioned from ground power to the vehicle's own internal power. We're getting really close here. T-minus 1 minute.
T-minus
1
seconds.
minute. All right.
Range green. AFSS flight enabled.
Hydraulics are started up on the forward and aft. You might start to see the engines gimbal a bit here. They're going to move back and forth. Make sure they are nice and clear. And we're going to wait here for the big water. Let's turn it back over to mission control. Let's light this candle. Go, New Glenn.
T-minus 30
Now
seconds.
tell me the odds.
Can't wait to see this booster back on Earth.
GS1 hydraulics internal. GS1 at flight level. GS2 at flight level. Hold.
All right, as we've seen here, our team has decided to go into a hold at T-minus 20 seconds.
Oh, we got to hold.
Let's wait to learn just a little bit more here.
Auto safing complete.
All right. Well, while we wait to figure out what exactly this hold is, with just 20 seconds out, Francisco wants to know, do you think Blue Origin is winning this race? Hang on 1 second. Let's listen in.
We are awaiting here NG-2, the second mission of New Glenn. We're at T-minus 20 seconds. Our team has decided to enter a hold here. We've said it on other webcasts before. We spend years designing this rocket, months building it, months designing the missions. If we need a couple of minutes to make sure that the rocket is ready, that our team is ready, that everything on the range is ready,
That's right.
then we will take that time.
At this moment in time, I do have a statement that says that terminal count abort. The team is currently investigating. Right now, you've got to look inside of GS2. You can see our twin satellites. I believe that's ESCAPADE, correct?
That is ESCAPADE. They're ready for its launch to space, to Mars. It's going to have to wait just a couple more minutes here, obviously. There you see the base of the rocket, the 7 BE-4 engines.
All right, so the official word from Blue Origin is terminal count abort. The team is investigating. I don't know, guys. I don't know if this means that the launch can continue today, or if this is a scrub. What do y'all think? But while we wait, Francisco wants to know, do you think Blue Origin is winning this race? Francisco, you're going to have to be a bit more specific. Which race? Are you talking about the race with SpaceX? If so, the answer is no, because SpaceX has obviously won that race. So is that what you were talking about?
All right, if you're just joining us, this is NG-2. We are at T-minus 20 seconds. We are currently in a hold because we had a terminal count abort. Our team, like I said, is currently investigating. So while everything is getting sorted out, we're going to toss it back over to NG-2 on the pad and give you more information as it becomes available to us.
Yeah, John, I'm kind of inclined to decide with you here. I think this is going to be a scrub. I usually with like the old school NASA feeds, we would know exactly what's going on by now. Especially, a lot of reporters used to be able to listen into the raw loops and have more access into what exactly is happening in launch control or mission control. But these are private space companies. Like, they don't have to do that like a government agency that's funded by taxpayers do. So that's something that, all journalists and everybody in the press have been having to get used to a little bit over the last few years, right? Yeah, John is saying time to recycle. Launch window not closed yet. I hope so. I hope. But we don't know. We don't know what the issue is. There's definitely time in the launch window. We've got like another hour and a half. So, yeah, they can definitely recycle if they want to. Let me just turn off this music so I don't run into any potential copyright violations. The things that I'm learning as a new YouTube streamer. Okay. Why, hello from France. Hello from Washington, D.C. All right. Well, we got some time to kill if you guys want to do any Q&A. I am game to play. All right. Well, I'm bummed that I could not be there in person for this launch. That would have been, having had a chance to see the first New Glenn on its maiden flight, especially at night. I just think night launches are so much more spectacular. I get from an engineering perspective that daytime flights are a bit better in terms of photos, videos, collecting the data and all that, especially when you're trying to land a booster for the first time on a ship. I get why a daytime launch is so much more desirable, but from a purely spectator standpoint, night launch all the way. I mean, did you guys anybody see the Artemis 1 launch in person? That was hands down the coolest, most visually spectacular launch that I've ever seen. Hopefully we'll get to see it again in just a few months. All right. Let me just check in and see what What is happening, guys? So one other really cool thing, you know, the things that Blue Origin is doing for its media and press kits. They gave us this. So if you are anywhere within those circles, you'll be able to see potentially New Glenn launching if it does indeed go today. I am just outside that in Washington, D.C. But it's also, when you look at that map, it is incredible that these auroras were able to make it that far south, all the way to Florida, which caused this delay of a day. But really incredible that you guys could see that all the way down there. I went out with my daughter last night to try to go see it here in DC, and it was not visible, unfortunately, last night. Okay, what are we thinking? All right, so we've got the launch window open until 4:25. We've got close to an hour and a half. So it is not over yet, but man, I just don't know in this countdown if an automatic abort that's triggered literally, 20 seconds to launch, if that means you got to launch another day, or if it's possible to recycle. I just don't know about that. But while we're waiting, how about just a little bit more on what do we have here? Oh, sorry, guys. There we go. Ah, look at that. That's so much better. Can I just apologize really quickly? This is truly only my second ever live stream. And I'm doing this by myself, and I'm usually much more polished on these things, but there is a bit of a learning curve. So thank you for sticking with me here. Let's talk a bit about ESCAPADE. ESCAPADE is the payload that New Glenn is going to be launching, hopefully into orbit whenever this thing finally flies. And what it is, it's really the first time this has ever been done. Typically, when you are launching anything to Mars, you want to do it when Earth is at its closest point to Mars, for pretty obvious reasons. But that only happens, once roughly every 2 years. And so what they're trying to do differently now, we're not in that Mars window right now. And so what's going to happen here is New Glenn is going to launch the ESCAPADE satellites into orbit, and then they're just going to sit at a point in space called a Lagrange point, a relatively safe point in space. And they're just going to sit there until Mars gets closer to Earth, and then they're going to fire up their engines and make the journey to Mars. This is the first time that really, I believe anybody, but I know certainly it's the first time that NASA has tried this. This is a NASA payload built by Rocket Lab, though. And what's so cool about this is, if this works, it means that other Mars missions, certainly not crewed, but uncrewed missions, will be able to just launch at any point in time. So you have kind of like a backlog of Mars missions. And then when you hit that Mars window, they can all go to Mars. You don't have to wait and try to get your spacecraft and booster and payloads all ready at the same time at this perfect Mars window, when there's then a backlog potentially in the launch manifest. So just in terms of the timing of what's happening here, it's really new. It's cool. It's really different. In terms of the financing, this is a really, there's been so much talk about NASA science. Obviously, the White House proposed that its budget was going to be slashed in half. Congress, not cool with that, but, NASA Science's budget has been front of mind lately. And so this is a relatively cheap way to do an interplanetary science mission. So just the timeline of it is cool. The way it's financially structured is cool. And then what they're actually going to be doing is pretty unique as well. It's not one satellite, it's 2 satellites that are going to be eventually orbiting around Mars. And one of them is going to be studying the solar weather, solar flares, radiation, that sort of stuff. And then the other one is going to be studying what impact that space weather has on the Martian atmosphere or lack thereof. So that's what these 2 payloads are going to be doing. Viasat also has a role in this mission. They're testing out some communications in space, and we should know they're going to be testing that today. We should know how that, well, they're going to be testing it whenever it launches, be that today or not today. So those are the payloads. I've been getting some questions about like why, why didn't the first New Glenn have payloads on board? I think it's pretty obvious. It's the first test flight of any vehicle has a pretty good chance for total failure. And why would you want a paying customer, be it a commercial company or a government like NASA, putting a expensive payload on board when you've got a good chance of failure? So this really is the first test for Blue Origin to see if they can get a paying customer's payload up into orbit, and then of course the booster landing. So, all right, I've been yapping for a while. Let me see if we have any questions. You guys have a lot of comments, but no questions. Give me some questions, guys. I think we're gonna have some time to kill. And I'm just going to do a quick check to make sure I'm not missing anything on the reporting side. Like there's not something has happened. And if you guys are, let's pop this back on and just make sure I'm not missing anything. I'm paranoid. Well, we've got dead air. Okay. Rachel's saying I'm on the West Coast and in Canada, so I don't see any launches. Rachel, you could see some launches from Vandenberg. I mean, I say that, but I think there was some stat that just came out that like 50% of the launches from Vandenberg you cannot see because of clouds. So maybe you can't see rocket launches, but you can always come to the Space Coast. Teresa, really? You're telling me I need to blow my nose? My kids are sick. I've got a stuffy nose. What do you want me to do? I'm not going to blow my nose right now. Maybe a problem after the change to internal power. Yeah, I mean, totally. That's always always a risk. But then once you do that, and it triggers an automatic abort. Can you recycle in time? That is the question that we're all waiting on. Rachel's saying NASA's budget is way less than what the Pentagon and the military get for spending. Yeah, I mean, that's been probably NASA's, well, I don't want to say that, but that combined with a lack of continuity and purpose, I think are the 2 biggest, thorns in NASA's side, and the fact that it's like a big bureaucracy. But, the fact that NASA doesn't have a ton of money compared to the other government agencies, and the fact that NASA has to deal with term limits and new presidential administrations that come in and radically alter the agency's priorities and destinations in terms of, are we going to the moon, Mars, or an asteroid? That really impacts it as well, of course. NASA to be placed in the War Department, I have not heard that. If anything, there was talk about it being placed in the Department of Transportation, but I think that has been effectively nixed now that Jared Isaacman is going to be, almost certainly the next NASA administrator. If his nomination is withdrawn twice, there's really a problem, right, guys? Do I know the physical size of the recovery ship, John? Oof, you've stumped me. I don't know the actual dimensions of the recovery ship, but you know what? We can find out. I got it for you, John. The answer is 380 feet long and 100 feet wide. Amazing what you can find out. All right, let's see. Matthew wants to know, when is the launch anticipated? Matthew, it should already be in orbit. It should have been in orbit, on Sunday, but that's space, right? Scrubs happen. And this is only a second launch attempt, but it has hit almost every possible reason for scrubbing already. You had weather on Sunday, but you also had some undisclosed technical issue, which I'm still not sure what exactly it was. You've also got a Carnival cruise ship like just set off right into the no-go zone shortly before it was supposed to launch on Sunday. That wasn't the official reason for the scrub, but I mean, come on, how I can't believe this issue is still happening. This happens every few launches or so with SpaceX. It was an issue for Blue Origin as well during New Glenn 1. So why I don't understand how this, like, you're not talking about like a little dinky boat. This is a massive Carnival cruise ship. Like, how can they violate that area with the close to the rocket right before launch? I don't know. And then you had the solar flares and the solar storm on, what day is today? Thursday. So this was on Wednesday. So they couldn't launch because of the beautiful auroras, essentially, which is not unprecedented. It has happened before, but it is uncommon. I think it was a few years ago when SpaceX launched a bunch of Starlink satellites into space during a big geomagnetic storm or event, and like 40, it was before they had a chance to like fully deploy, and I like their safety mechanisms in place to protect them from solar storms. Anyway, they all burned up in the Earth's atmosphere and never made it to their desired orbit. So that's the kind of thing that they are trying to protect the payload in this mission from ESCAPADE. They didn't want to launch it into a big, an unsafe space weather event that could damage the payload before it has a chance to go to Mars. All right. Is the clock rolling again? Is the clock rolling again? I don't know. Let me check. I don't see it on here. You got it. I had it paused. There we go. Thank you. The clock is rolling again. We got a new time. T-minus 27 minutes. Hopefully they can recycle. Okay, let me just mute this. So I was wondering like why we were on dead air for so long. Okay, great. All right. Captain McClint wants to know, the ship will not have a return with material. Are you talking about, you're either talking about New Glenn? The answer is no for both. NASA's ESCAPADE payloads, those are satellites. They're not going to be landing on the Martian surface. But even if they did land on the Martian surface, they would not have the capability of bringing anything from the surface back to Earth. That would be part of like a Mars sample return mission, which has been, I mean, there was a plan in place. It was expensive. It was over budget. They're trying to reconfigure that and see if they can do it in a more affordable and speedy way. But make no mistake, like if the United States doesn't do it, China's going to do it, right? Like somebody's getting samples back from Mars. It's just a question of when and which country prioritizes it and which country does it first. But neither of the payloads launching today are capable of bringing that back to Earth. But thank you for the question. Rachel, I love this idea. I need to make a poll on whether the booster is going to stick a landing or not. Ooh, great idea. How do I do that? I know how to do it like in YouTube, but I'm using a different platform to stream on right now, and I don't think it gives me poll capabilities. But I will look into that for the next stream. How about this? If this scrubs, I will have a poll ready for the next time I stream. What else we got? Well, so here's another one, also from Metz. How should I pronounce your name? Captain McClint? I can't tell. Saying it's like Avi Loeb says that people should study and build their own platform to expand their own space and maybe look at microbes when it suits them. First and foremost, platforms to get more space. Sorry, I just got a text. Yeah, so clearly you were watching the first live stream that I did on the Endless Void with Avi Loeb. And he thinks that instead of focusing on getting, boots on Mars, he thinks that humanity should focus on building space platforms or elaborate space stations, because he says in the long term, that's going to be more sustainable because Mars doesn't have an atmosphere, getting all the supplies there. It's just going to take a lot more time, effort, mass, resources to build a truly self-sustaining presence on Mars than it would perhaps on platforms, space platforms or space stations. So I think it's an interesting point. I'd like to. I'm somebody who thinks like we should be able to do all of this. It would not take too much of a reallocation of resources to really start to be able to, not do all of these things in our lifetime, but really start to go to the moon, build a base on the moon, do what Elon Musk is talking about and go to Mars, but also build these, massive space platforms, space stations, orbital reefs, as one idea that's been tossed around. So I'd love to see it all. I'd hope we wouldn't have to choose. Okay, we're still counting down. I haven't heard. Oh my gosh, it's like pausing on me. Hold on, guys.
Grand Voyage,
there we go.
Right, but as you go to Mars, every 2 years a window opens up.
Okay. T-minus 22 minutes. I'm not crazy. I'm not accidentally hitting the pause button on here. Somehow it's just doing it automatically. So keep me honest. Okay, Thomas wants to know Blue Origin or SpaceX, which will win? Well, I mean, it depends on what exactly we're talking about, right? Like right now, I mean, SpaceX is far and away the most dominant launch provider, not just in the United States, but in the entire world. Like it's not even close. Like their closest competition is not another company, it's another country, China. But if you're asking which will win the race to put NASA astronauts on the moon as part of the Artemis program, and specifically Artemis 3, I think Blue Origin has a real chance now in a way that they certainly did not even a few months ago. I mean, I think one of the big questions is you had the acting NASA administrator, Sean Duffy, say, of course, a few weeks ago that he was going to open up that HLS human landing system contract to other companies, giving Blue Origin that opportunity to kind of swoop in with its Mark 1 or Mark 2 lunar lander, if they're able to figure out a way to do that in time. And if they were, it all hinges on this rocket that we're waiting for right here, New Glenn, being able to carry that lunar lander into orbit and begin its journey into get it into orbit and then begin its journey to the moon. So that's, this mission there's so much at stake here today, not just for the payloads inside, but for Blue Origin, the company, but also for NASA's Artemis program. I mean, everybody has such high hopes for SpaceX and Starship, and look at SpaceX. Like, they're going to get it. They're going to figure this out. It's just a question of when, and can they do it fast enough to get it human rated in time to beat China to the moon, because their program is, going incredibly well right now. So we'll see. Guys, I'm just going to listen in here really quick because I haven't heard what they're saying in quite some time. So give me a second. Here we go.
As we await the launch of NG-2, L- about 20 minutes. But let's take it back over to our very own Eddie Seifert, who is with employees right here at Rocket Park at the best spot to watch New Glenn take to the skies. Eddie, how are things over there?
Hey, Tabitha. Hey, Ariane. We are on top of the world. That's certainly what it feels like on this momentous occasion. And, I changed up the view a little bit. Behind me, you see Lunar Plant 1. That's our newest building at Rocket Park. Now, Rocket Park sits on 250 acres of what used to be an orange grove. That was pre-2016. Since 2016, we've added 2.5 million square feet of production space. And our newest building, it's building the lunar landers that are going to help NASA and help Blue Origin return to the moon, this time to stay.
And Eddie, I think we talked about this a little bit on our last webcast. That building behind you is massive. It's hard to tell because you're elevated yourself, but maybe you can talk a little bit to the scale of that building, as well as its location relative to other facilities here at Rocket Park.
That's right, Ariane. If you're ever driving on Space Commerce Way, you'll see it. You'll see just how massive it is, right? If I'm standing on top of the world and that building's even taller, it's tall enough to house the 16-meter tall lunar lander, which is twice as big as the Mark 1 101 Pathfinder that we're going to launch to the moon later this year. When that lunar lander lands on the moon, it will be the largest lunar lander to have ever landed, and we're just going to get bigger from there. So we're very excited about Mark 1 later this year or early next year, and then Mark 2 to return humans to the moon, this time to stay. And you mentioned the co-location. So the fact that we can be co-located with New Glenn means that we can encapsulate that very large lander in the very large New Glenn fairing here on site, and then we can drive it out to our integration facility to essentially place it on top of the New Glenn vehicle, much like we have ESCAPADE today.
Eddie, thank you so much. Always so great to talk to Eddie because he can talk at hours and at length about anything to do with engines, with lunar, and of course, he's our hype man out there with everyone here at Rocket Park. Thank you again. If you didn't notice, on his shirt actually are little lunar landers as well. But right now, we're going to toss it over to New Glenn on the pad as we await the launch of NG-2. And in about 30 seconds here, we're going to hear another go poll. So let's go ahead and listen in.
All right, guys, 30 seconds to this go, no go poll. It looks like we may actually see this thing lift off today. Pretty impressive that they've been able to recycle this and turn it around after getting just 20 seconds to lifting off. I'd love to know more about what exactly triggered that that automated abort, but hey, maybe we'll find out in time. All right, Captain McClint is saying China is going to be the first country to put a country on the moon and will achieve more than the U.S. itself did with its moon missions in the 60s and 70s. I mean, first of all, the United States landed first on the moon. It was the first country to put boots on the moon back in 1969. But I do think China has a real shot at being the first to win this new race to the moon. I mean, look at what the former NASA administrator Jim Bridenstine said in a Senate hearing just a few weeks ago. He testified under oath that he thought that there was a good chance that China might be. He said it was highly unlikely that the U.S. would beat China to the moon, given the current trajectory. Now, SpaceX came out and took issue with that statement, as you might expect they would, noting that Jim Bridenstine was, in their words, effectively a lobbyist for a lot of the current Artemis contractors. But if you just look at how China's space program is progressing, and you look at the setbacks that the American space program is facing, I think there's a better chance that they beat the U.S. back to the moon than lose that second space race, which would be just a huge wake-up call for everybody here in America. We're back in a hold. Guys. Okay, I'm live still. This is a live feed. Let me double check this. Okay, no, this is live and we're holding. Rachel, so true. Spacing ain't easy. Like the cliche. I'm not even gonna say it. You guys know what I'm thinking, right? Type it in the. I'll type it. I'm not gonna say it because it's this. I hate it when people say it, but it's so true. All right. I don't know what's wrong. There ain't no gas in it. Oh, Batmanimal, I can assure you that is a you're looking at a bomb basically. That is a fully fueled massive rocket. It is an incredibly impressive rocket to see in person. Not quite as big as Starship or the SLS rocket or Saturn V, although I never got to see that vertically stacked. But, New Glen's up there. Oh, but Rachel brings up a good point when we're talking about China. She says, I don't know, China's having a problem with their space station and the stranded astronauts. How wild is that? Two scenarios on two different space stations where astronauts are stuck in space in under a year. I know that people are going to take issue with the phrase stuck in space because, they're not being abandoned in space. They're not stranded. They're it's not like NASA or the Chinese Space Agency are just going to leave them there. But they were delayed in space for sure. But it really does make you think about, one, the fact that orbital debris is a growing problem. Hold on one second. I hear the music stopping. Are we going to go into a go, no go poll? No.
Welcome back, everyone.
Ooh.
You are currently watching NG-2. Now, we are awaiting the go poll for terminal count. Right now, we're in a hold and we're getting more information, but do stay with us. Keep your eyes on that screen because New Glenn is out on the pad and looking absolutely fantastic.
All right. Well, no go poll in 30 seconds like we had initially been told. And now we're in another hold. I don't know, guys. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it, okay? I think this might be another scrubby scrub. I hope I'm wrong. But it's trending that way. especially since it's not like weather. It's not like another cruise ship that's like, there's something technical going on here, perhaps with the recycle. So, yeah, I don't know. But just a little note about who you guys are listening to. Ian, you're with me. You're getting the same feeling. The two people that you are listening to on the Blue Origin webcast are two friends of mine, Tabitha Lipkin and Ariane Cornell. Ariane has been with the company for, over a decade, and she's done various things within the company, but New Shepard first, and now she's moved to New Glenn, and she's just so impressive and so just getting. I had the chance to sit with Ariane Cornell during the NS-31 webcast. Katy Perry's Launch to Space, Lauren Sanchez's Launch to Space. That one, Blue Origin brought me in to help host that webcast. And just sitting next to somebody like Ariane and absorbing her amount of knowledge in these spacecrafts and the company was so, it was such a huge learning experience for me. But it was also just a massive learning experience for me in terms of how much these webcasts that you're watching right now are rehearsed and practiced. I spent 2 days rehearsing with them for this NS-31 launch. For a launch like New Glenn, which is, arguably much higher stakes for the company, they have spent a significant amount of time preparing, rehearsing for this webcast, but also planning for every contingency that you can think of. And so these holds and the various packages that they toss to, it was just from the perspective of somebody who's been in, live television news for 20 years, the amount of planning that goes into it on that side when you are representing a company was fascinating to be a part of. Okay, back to the rocket. Oh, but really quick, also Tabitha Lipkin, the other co-host, I can't say enough about her. She was brought in to do senior.
All right, everyone, you have
She's
your
talking
eyes
now. This is her.
On New Glenn. This is NG-2. We're at L-minus 18 minutes and about 40 seconds. Now, coming up at the 17-minute mark, we will have that poll for terminal count. But Ariane, right now, I want to talk about how incredible this rocket is, how unique this rocket is. Can you kind of walk through for our viewers what makes this vehicle so unique?
Sure. It's a two-stage vehicle. If you were able to tune in on Sunday, you saw a little bit of this explanation. But basically, when you talk about a two-stage vehicle, all that means for those of you that are not rocket nerds like us is that we're just stacking a rocket on top of a rocket. GS1, Glenn Stage 1, is the one on the bottom. It pushes Glenn Stage 2, the rocket on the top. And then on top of Glenn Stage 2, GS2, you see that shroud. In there, that's the payload fairing. In the payload fairing today are our payloads, NASA's ESCAPADE, the 2 satellites. But what makes this rocket so special? We are going to land the first stage. The first stage is reusable. And what's cool about this first stage in particular is, we've had our New Shepard program, our suborbital program. We've learned so much from that rocket program. And there's actually some interesting similarities between the two, but also some differences. Up here, you see that we've put we call them now the forward fins at the top. Those help with the directional capability. New Shepard also has those. But this one, we also have the strakes. We want to be able to essentially fly this rocket back home and relight the engines. So it's a beautiful rocket. I cannot see it do its thing this first time in just a couple of minutes here.
I know. And at L-minus 17 minutes, let's listen in for that go poll for terminal count.
All right, guys. Well, here we go. Sorry, guys. I lost a light, and we are back up and running. Okay, so We're waiting for that go, no go poll. Sounds like they're going to try again. T minus 16 minutes. While we wait, I'm just going to pop some of these up. Rachel wants to know, did Katie really go to space? I mean, I watched it with my own eyes. There's not some sort of conspiracy theory, if that's what you're getting at. Like, they definitely went on a suborbital flight to the very edge of space. Did not go orbital. So if that's what you're referring to, they did not
All
go
right, guys.
orbital. Oh,
We have
hang on,
New Glenn
guys.
on the pad, and the reason I have my computer in
listen.
front of me is so I can tell you these great things. So we
Ooh.
are go for terminal count
Wow.
at L minus 15 minutes and 30 seconds. You are watching NG-2, New Glenn on the pad, the booster so appropriately named. Never tell me the odds, Ariane, and a great day to fly.
A beautiful day to fly. Looks a lot better than it did on Sunday. We were just constantly fighting the Florida weather down here. It would be sunny, and then it would be rainstorm, lightning, and then it would be sunny again. It was a lot going on. But today is a beautiful, beautiful day to fly. So as you mentioned, we're now at L minus 15 minutes to go from New Glenn's second launch. And Tabitha, you recently had the chance to chat with our CEO, Dave Limp, about NG-2, today's mission, and what this mission means for science and for our company.
Yeah, you can see Kent right there on your screen. Hey, guys, giving you lots of love right here from the desk. Also thinking about our guys in Huntsville, Alabama, Van Horn, Texas, and, of course, right here in Rocket Park. Now, when I got to talk to Dave, not only did he share his message to the more than 10,000 employees here at Blue Origin, some of which you see on your screen, but also how important NG-2 is to focus on for our customers. This is a really big moment for Blue Origin. Can you tell me how NG-2 compares to NG-1?
Yeah, I think NG-1 was obviously our first mission. There was lots to learn, and we did learn a lot, and unbelievably successful in that we made our goal, which was to get to orbit. This time we're going to be a little bit more ambitious, and we want to not only get to orbit, but we have our first paying customer this time with ESCAPADE, and get them off to Mars. That's the first part of our goal, and then the second part of the goal is to land the booster out on Jacqueline. And if we don't, we have more over here in the factory that we're building, but we're going to give it our best shot.
Never tell me the odds is pretty fitting for this booster. We are taking our second attempt at landing it for the first time. How are you going to feel if we land it?
Well, I certainly will not channel my inner C-3PO. I will be very ecstatic. I will be on pins and needles up to that point, but it would be a huge achievement for the team and for Blue. I think that we have a good chance, but if we don't, like I said, we can build more, but I will be over the moon if it happens.
Now, New Glenn is obviously just one of the many systems we have here, right? We have New Shepard, we have Lunar, we have In-Space Systems. How are all of those organizations really working together to further our ultimate goals?
Yeah, I think each component of what we do has a piece of trying to get millions of people to work and live in space, and they all have their individual. But as it relates to this particular mission, a huge amount of people have put work into it. Obviously, our engines team in building both the engines for the booster, the BE-4s, and the BE-3Us for the upper stage. We also have a huge amount of work by the obviously New Glenn team building this vehicle, but also New Shepard has been a pathfinder. So all our avionics fly on New Shepard first, so that we can get a sense of what's going on there and get a sense what it's like to have flight-ready hardware. And so it takes a whole team, and it's a very big cross-functional effort across Blue.
We have more than 10,000 employees here that are very excited about this moment. I'm one of them. What is your message to those who are going to be watching our webcast and be watching NG-2 take to the skies?
Well, I think everybody will be a little bit on pins and needles, I'm sure. But I would say that this is a culmination of a lot of work from a lot of teams. It's not the end point of our journey. Obviously, we have a lot more rockets to make and a lot more customers to make happy as we move forward. But to the extent we're successful here, I hope everybody at Team Blue takes a pause, smiles a bit, celebrates, because it'll be a great achievement for us. And we'll take that deep breath. We'll sort of embrace the moment and then move on, because we have a lot of customers waiting for us to succeed. And there's nothing that makes you happier in business and in your life when you see the smile on customers' faces.
Did you ever think that you would be doing something like this in your career when
No.
you're watching your rockets launch? No?
No, not in a million years. I was very happy making Fire TVs and Echoes, but it is a boyhood dream, and so to be able to have it, I kind of pinch myself every day, and just amazed that I get to wake up and help this and lead this amazing team of people build incredible technology like New Glenn.
I mean, and a reference to that, one of the first things they ask you when you come onto Blue Origin is, what is your first memory of space? What is your first memory of space?
Yeah, I have a lot of pictures. It turned out my third, fourth, and fifth birthday, I have these old Polaroids of the cake, and they all have rockets on it. I was enamored with rockets as a kid, and never took the path where I thought I'd be running a rocket or a rocket company. But it turns out that it was very early in my life that I had a lot of love for it.
And we're so grateful to have you here at the helm. Dave, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Obviously, so great to get to talk to Dave, especially when we're kind of on the edge of this historic moment. But like he said, no matter what happens today, we have lots of hardware behind us already in the works. And it's a great day for Blue Origin. And we're so proud of everyone who's been a part of Team Blue up until this point.
Absolutely. And you can actually see the difference even between now, today and Sunday. They're getting ready to work on, looks like this one is going to be the next forward. We've got another forward. We've got another aft over here. So we've got a lot of rockets that are coming down the line. But we're just feeling pretty good about, cautiously optimistic. We know how difficult this is. I'm going to lose my mind if we land this booster today. But as we mentioned, we've got other hardware coming down the line.
Yeah, and landing the booster, it's no easy undertaking. Now, our team, including myself, recently had the opportunity to spend a day at sea with our Jacqueline crew and learn more about the operation of landing and securing the booster. A live look at Jacqueline right there. Now, this is an operation and a moment that will change the course of Blue Origin history. Check it out.
The Jacqueline is that landing platform vessel where New Glenn will come down, land, and we secure it and bring it.
All right, guys. I'm back. Just a few little notes some of you guys are wondering about. I have 2 streams going simultaneously. I'm trying something new. I've got a horizontal stream and a vertical one. So if this is showing up for you vertically, go to my channel and click on the other one. Maybe I won't do this again if this is too confusing, but testing out streaming simultaneously, both horizontally and vertically. So if you're seeing it vertically, you're on the wrong stream, unless you want to view it this way. Let's see. All right, let's get to some, I want to get to some of your questions with 8 minutes to go, but I thought it might be nice to just really quickly reset exactly what we're about to see for some of the people that have joined us. We got within 20 seconds of New Glenn launching about 30 minutes ago. We weren't sure if they were going to be able to reset and recycle, but it appears they were able to do that. We're now just under 8 minutes away from liftoff. And we're going to be seeing, hopefully, the second flight, the second time that New Glenn has ever flown. This is Blue Origin's biggest rocket, its first orbital rocket. It made it to orbit one time in January. Big success. That mission, very almost flawless countdown, really, for a first launch. That launch back in January was incredible. Now, this is the first time, the second flight, that they actually have paying customers that have paid to put their payloads on board. And inside, you've got a Viasat communications test, and the big one is NASA's ESCAPADE mission. 2 satellites inside that are going to Mars. So top priority for this mission, which is set to launch in just about 7 minutes, is get these payloads into orbit, get NASA ESCAPADE into space. Number 2, land this booster. Pretty bold for Blue Origin to come out and say, hey, we want to land this massive booster on our second attempt. I mean, it took SpaceX multiple attempts before they were able to do it, but that is the number 2 goal for this mission. And if we see it land on that ship right there, that's the Jacqueline, it would be wild. I mean, It really would be a massive moment for this company and for the American space industry. SpaceX, the only company that's capable of doing this right now on a routine basis. So for Blue Origin to be able to land an orbital booster back on a ship would be just, I mean, you're going to see the Blue Origin team go wild. So we're at T-minus 6 minutes. We're getting close. Let me just answer a few of your questions really quick, and then we'll go in. Okay, so you guys are really confused by my streams. I know the horizontal stream is better, but I thought some people might want to watch it vertically. I'll get rid of it next time. All right. John says, Blue Origin not taking risks. This is a very important payload for NASA and Blue Origin. Yeah. I mean, anytime you have a paying customer and a customer like NASA, keep in mind, NASA's trying, Blue Origin's trying to, you know, have a very good relationship with NASA right now because they would love to maybe get that Artemis 3 contract, the HLS Human Landing System contract for Artemis 3, steal it from SpaceX, and they need NASA to do it, of course. So yeah, a lot on the line here. Blue Origin does not want to take any risks, and they want ESCAPADE and these satellites to make it to Mars. So they're not just dealing with their own company's hardware. You've got other paying customers' hardware on board, and so they're going to be very careful with that. All right. T-minus, we're under 5 minutes now, guys. And look at those BE4 engines there. Those engines have been performing very well after, they were delayed for quite a while, but now that they've got them, they've been performing incredibly well. Thomas says this channel should be voted #1 for all things space. Thomas, I totally agree with you. Thanks for the comment. Okay, guys, we're getting really close. Let's hope there are no Carnival cruise ships in the way. Let's listen in for a minute. I don't want to miss anything.
Same time scales that we're thinking here. It's not going to, we want to go fast on this.
And if you're taking a look at your screen, you see New Glenn on the pad, and on the upper right-hand corner, you see L-4 minutes and about 6 seconds. That's going to change to a T-minus any moment, and that is really when the vehicle itself is starting to run on its own. We're going to start being able to hear our mission ops, Patrick Moore.
AFSS timer enabled.
Terminal count system is active. From here on out, the vehicle is running fully autonomously on software.
Engaged. T-minus 330. Rapid retract arms. Magic charge initiated.
How exciting here. We're ticking down in 3 minutes. We're going to launch this vehicle to space. We're going to put 2 satellites on their way to Mars, and we're going to try to land that booster for the first time. So exciting, and a big props to our launch control team that has managed to do a recycle on this vehicle. We want to fly today, Tabitha.
Oh, there are the cheers.
All right, guys, what do we think? Are we seeing New Glenn fly today? This is the second time we've been under 3 minutes.
I know this is an exciting moment from her. There we have employees from all across the United States.
Here we go. Oh man, it's getting exciting, guys. I've always wanted to be inside either SpaceX headquarters or Blue Origin's headquarters during one of these countdowns to one of their big launches. I just think the energy would be so much fun. All right, you guys. I think we're going to see a launch.
Making sure the tanks are pressurized to their proper flight levels.
That's right.
This is after I said we're probably going to see a scrub today, but forget I ever said that.
A warm day in Florida, but that rocket is super cold.
Nice
with its
and cool.
chill propellants. T-minus 2 minutes to go. LNG on the first stage, liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen on the second stage. New Glenn looking beautiful. And there you go.
Beachgoers with a great view.
Wow.
what makes
That's
this
where I
place so
watched,
special down here on the Space Coast.
New Glenn's first flight
a day
from,
on the
and
beach,
it was
but you can sit there and
spectacular
look
at
at
night.
so far south, a spectacular
Power
view
internal.
for everybody here in Cocoa Beach.
Now we've
And it's just more fun to
transitioned
watch
from
it with
ground
people,
power to the
right?
vehicle's own internal power. I mean, we are getting close. Aria, hold my hand. I'm getting really excited. There are those BE4s, 7 of them, ready to take New Glenn.
3.85 million pounds of thrust combined.
All right, guys. T-minus 1 minute.
In just 60
Range
seconds
green,
here, as
AFSS
mentioned
flight
before.
enabled.
Oh, man.
We will light 4 of the engines, then 3 of the engines, just about a second or 2 off for a staggered start. You'll see the big water deluge, and that's when you know that it's game on.
Ooh, listen to that.
I love hearing all those sounds.
You hear the power up.
You certainly do.
And with that,
you'll see that water any second now.
Let's
T-minus
turn it
30
over to
seconds.
launch control. Let's go, New Glenn.
GS1 hydraulics
Here we go,
internal.
guys.
Never tell me
GS1
the
at flight
odds.
level. GS2 at flight level.
All right, we are now further in the countdown than we were the last
Autopilot
time
enabled.
we got to that hold at 20 seconds. Oh, man, here we go.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7,
Wow.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Woo.
Liftoff, detected. First motion.
New Glenn has cleared the tower.
Pushing 7 good engines. 30 seconds into flight. Engine operating parameters continue with good at full thrust. Body rate is consciously not met. 40 seconds in. End of roll strips now level. 50 seconds into flight. Continue to see good engine operating parameters. All
A clean burn. We're coming up here on max Q, maximum dynamic.
Look at those diamonds. Wow.
When it comes to
Body
the
rate response
pressures and
continue to
the
look good during
speed,
ascent.
we want to see
Engine
this
operating
rocket
parameters
punch
continue to look
through
good.
that max Q
Seeing
will
good
stand
TC
by.
control, good MR control. 1 minute, 15 seconds in. Now passing Mach 1, New Glenn is now supersonic.
Supersonic.
And we can hear the
1 minute, 30
roar
seconds.
here.
Engine operating parameters continue
All right,
to look good at full
guys,
thrust.
we are hitting max Q right about now.
Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure.
The moment that the rocket is under the most pressure.
1 minute, 45 seconds.
Everyone thinks that liftoff is
All 7 V4 engines
so
continue to look good.
scary,
Body
but
rate
it's
phenomenal.
max Q, right?
Good control on MR and TDC.
Wow, look at her fly.
Vibration profile phenomenal.
What a beautiful rocket.
Now passing 2
The
minutes into
7
flight.
BE4 is unreal.
One minute remaining in boost phase.
All right, 1 minute remaining in boost phase. You heard our team say. Then we'll hit Miko, main engine cutoff. That's going to lead to a sequence of events. We will separate the first stage from the second, and that's when the first stage is going to begin its journey back home. We're going to see if we can land the booster separately. Of course, we will get the second stage off and going with the NASA ESCAPADE satellites on board.
All right, we're about
on their way to
7
Mars.
minutes away from seeing if this booster can land back on the Jacqueline
Great to
ship.
hear that good data quality.
All 7 engines continue
Looking
to look good.
nominal. Next up, Miko, which is main engine cutoff. The cheers are real. You can hear them all the way in here.
And we have Miko.
And we have Miko.
We have good stage set.
Miko, main engine cutoff, stage separation. It's all happening, guys.
And we have ignition on stage 2. Both engine parameters look good.
Ignition.
Oh, you see the two rockets there.
Body rate stamping out nicely. Both B3U engines look good at the high thrust set point. Body rate responses look good.
Oh,
3
wow.
minutes,
Look at
33
that
seconds
shot
into
back
flight.
at Earth.
Look at that here.
All right, we're approaching the fairing jettison. Look at that.
We have good indication that they look
Look
for
at that
injection.
separation.
Both B3U engines
Great.
continue to look good.
Everything looking really good,
Seeing
guys.
good data coming down from both stages.
Great data. We're 4 minutes into NG-2.
And you
Tank
saw the
pressure response from
spectacular
GS2
view
look
from
good.
down from our
Responses
GS2.
continue to look
You
good.
see
There it
This is
the
a 9.5
large
minute burn
nozzles
for
of the
GS2.
BE3U
4 minutes, 25
engines
seconds
there.
into flight.
Wow. All right. At 9 minutes is when we're expecting the first stage to touch down on Jacqueline.
9 minutes, 9 seconds to be exact.
Approximately 2 minutes remaining in the GS1 coast.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us for NG2. So far, a nominal mission.
GS2 is
Our
now
second
320
mission of
kilometers
NG2.
downrange, traveling at 2.8 kilometers per second. Trajectory
We had a
continues to look
clean
good on
ascent
both stages,
burn, clean separation, clean fairing
right down the middle of the range
jettison.
track. Engine operating parameters on GS2 look good. 5
Sounds like
minutes,
our
16 seconds into
GS2
flight.
is having a beautiful ride. The NASA ESCAPADE satellites are
GS1 has
exposed
reached
to
apogee, now
space
entering
right
the
now.
descent phase.
And we've got GS1
The
coming
E3Us
down
continue
for
to look
landing
good. GS2 body
at
rate's
T
nominal.
plus 9 minutes.
Coast.
All right, guys, we are so
Continue
close
see
to
good data
seeing
coming
if this
down from
booster
both
is going to
GS1 and
land
GS2.
back on the Jacqueline.
Body rates on both stages
Again,
look good.
if
The
it is
3U
a
engines
bold
look
goal
good.
for a second test flight, but if they
Everything
are able
looking
to do
good,
it, it
looking
is going to
nominal.
be just
Seeing
incredible.
good
So
TDC
And
and MR
Ariane, this
control on
moment coming up
GS2.
is
3
an
minutes
important one.
away.
Trajectory
It is.
continues
We're
to look
going
good.
to relight the BE4 engines for the reentry
Body rate's
burn.
snowing out on GS1. The exo turn is complete.
There you go. It's about 300,000 feet, less than 100
6 minutes,
kilometers
30
up
seconds
there,
into
coming
flight.
in for a landing on the Jacqueline, 375 miles offshore, waiting for the first time to land
And
Blue
standing by for
Origin's New
GS1
Glenn
ignition
booster
shortly.
on the Jacqueline.
I mean, how incredible is this? Just a few years ago, a booster landing back on Earth anywhere, be it on land or ship, would have been, it was science fiction. And now we may have the second American company be able to do this with somewhat regularity.
No matter what happens next, we have had a good day. This is further than we made it on NG1.
That's right.
The indication of engine ignition on GS1. Continue to see good data from GS1.
So they're getting good
About
data.
a minute and a
GS2
half
engine parameters
Made
look
it
good.
farther than they have with
is when
NS1.
we would see,
Confirm engine cutoff
never
on
tell me
GS1.
the odds, return to Earth.
You
7
see it in
minutes,
kind of
40
that
seconds into
horizontal
flight.
position. We've got the strakes on the base of the booster, which give it lift. So we can basically fly this booster. Of course, we're using the forward fins as well, plus some of our reaction control system to,
All right,
as well as
guys.
the gimbling on the
Let's
BE4
go.
engines to turn the
Look at that
rocket
booster falling
accordingly.
out of the sky.
Here it starts to tilt
GS1
down.
now halfway
1
in its
minute to
planned burn.
go.
It is
GS1
screaming.
system,
Less than
GS2 systems
40,000
continue to
feet.
look good.
Come on.
GS2 throttle down complete.
Come
Response
on.
look
8 minutes and 27
seconds in flight.
seconds. That thing's supposed to fire. Let's go.
Turning back to landing burn ignition, and we have landing burn ignition. See 3 good engines.
This is so. There we go. Oh man.
Engine control. Let's
Here
go.
we go. Listen to the cheers from inside Blue Origin.
Like the floor.
Wow. I mean, already this is so much better than NS1. Look, you can see the Jacqueline in the water. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. Here we go. No way. Oh, what's happened? It's buffering. No! Wait. I can't tell what's happening. Has it landed? Wait. I need confirmation. What are we looking at here? Holy shit, they did it. Oh my God. Wow. I mean, just listen to this hearing. This is incredible. Wow.
GS2 systems continue to operate well.
Look at this. Oh, congrats, Blue. This is awesome. You guys have worked so hard for this. Wow. Y'all stuck that landing. Absolutely nailed it on a second attempt. I can't tell y'all how hard that is to do and how unbelievably impressive that is. Let's just soak up this moment.
Right on the middle of the racetrack. 10 minutes, 15 seconds.
I mean, that is so much bigger than a SpaceX Falcon 9. It is much more comparable to a Falcon Heavy. And for them to do that on a second attempt, I can't get over how technically
10 minutes, 40 seconds in the
difficult that is. I'm dying to see Ariane and Tabitha, the two webcast hosts, celebrating how they're celebrating right now.
GS2 is now 1,600 kilometers downrange, traveling at 5.9 kilometers per second.
On the right-hand side, GS2. On the left-hand side, you have our booster, our
Less
new
than
Blink
2 minutes
booster.
now remaining to
Never
Chico.
tell me the odds. Right there on the Jacqueline in the middle of that feather. Absolutely incredible. Congratulations, guys.
A landed orbital rocket. What an incredible day for Blue Origin, for the space industry.
GS2 systems continue to look good through its burn.
Well, you know what, guys? I did not think we were going to see that today. I hoped we were going to see that today. But, I mean, so much had to go right to make that happen. And to have only retrieved data from one test, it's just incredible.
Remaining in the burn.
GS2 continues.
I'm going to just pause this for a second. I'm not going to pause the video. Don't worry. Keep watching. I'm just going to mute it for 1 second and share my thoughts. Because, you know, Blue Origin has been the underdog for so long. And for them to kind of leapfrog their version of a Falcon 9 equivalent and go straight to a Super Heavy is, I just can't stress how bold of a decision that was. And also to be able to have the confidence that they could do this, land a booster on a ship on a second attempt. It is just wild. And now the other part of the mission, it appears, I mean, it's still going, right? Like we got to keep watching for that. But so far, it looks like they have been successful in getting NASA's ESCAPADE satellites up to where they need to be in space. So goal 2 achieved, the booster return. I still need to double check that everything's going well with the payloads that New Glenn successfully got up into space. But I mean, my gosh, if they partied like that on a live stream, do you guys have any idea what the party is going to be like in Kent or in Florida tonight? I mean, it's going to be wild, and rightfully so. Let's listen in.
Separate the blue and gold satellites of NASA's ESCAPADE mission. Of course, one of the most important thing of any launch is making sure you get your payloads where they need to go.
And there's our team in Kent. Hey, guys. That's right. I see the celebration.
They've already got the drinks coming out. They've already got the champagne. I love it.
Thank you for those beautiful engines.
GS2 systems are operating nominally as the vehicle is in its first
We
coast.
love you too, Huntsville.
This place is wall to wall. That just shows you the passion and the dedication of every single person that works here at Blue Origin. And Eddie, you're with our friends here at Rocket Park.
Hey, I'm
Give
here
it to us. What's going on?
Next
At this
stop
time in
moon.
flight,
Next
GS2 is
stop
now
moon.
3,020
Next stop
kilometers
moon. That's what
downrange,
everybody's saying
traveling
back here.
7.9
Guys,
kilometers per
what a
second.
day, what a momentous occasion, an incredible opportunity to witness live.
Eddie, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's so loud around you. They're chanting so loud, and rightfully so. I'm having a hard time hearing you. But you gotta tell me, what is this moment like for you, Eddie? You've been here a long time. You've seen the New Shepard booster land for the first time, and now you're watching New Glenn.
10 minutes remaining in the coast.
Yeah, this one was way better. Just incredible to watch. We're just here. Launch, land, repeat. It starts today.
Launch, land, repeat. I love it, Eddie. And I believe we also have some video, of course, of the celebrations happening all throughout Rocket Park, in every corner of what is going on in this building. Here's a moment. And of course, that's mission control, launch control. Where is it? You know you're gonna see it when they do it.
Aww.
There it is.
Oh, in the middle there, you see Jeff Bezos, Jordan Charles, the head of our New Glenn program, Dave Limp.
Celebrations all around. And there you have it. Let's show it to you one more time.
15 minutes
Our New Glenn booster
Continuing
out
to see
on
good
the
data coming down
Jacqueline.
from GS2.
Oh,
body
I
rate.
can't wait till she comes
Stable.
home.
I have never seen
Bridge
anything
coast.
more
You can
beautiful.
see good
Not
tank
since the
pressure
first
control.
landing of
Bottle
New
pressures look
Shepard
good.
in November of 2015.
voltages
My
are nominal.
goodness, we are almost
10 years
almost
later.
exactly 10 years apart to land our booster. Just incredible. And now we're watching here. We've got a map here on the left. That's our stage one that, of course, made this beautiful landing on the Jacqueline, 375 miles off the coast. And what you're seeing there in the center of your screen, GS2 with NASA's ESCAPADE satellites on board. We're waiting. We have about another 16, 17 minutes until we deploy the two satellites.
That's
Okay.
right.
First the blue, then 30 seconds later, the gold to give them some space. And then about 5 minutes after that, we also have what we call a hosted payload on board, a Viasat radio tech demonstrator on board that we will also power on. But right now, all three payloads are exposed to space and are on a beautiful flight, a completely nominal flight.
That's right.
So far
Now passing
on its
17 minutes,
way
15
to
seconds into flight.
space and
GS2
waiting
is
for deployment
continuing through
here.
its coast.
And at
this point,
17 minutes
GS2 is
into
at
flight,
its,
landing the booster, of
0%
course, was a
settling thrust.
historic moment for us
Settling
here at Blue
set
Origin.
point.
But the show isn't over.
Continue to see good data
Still
coming down
tracking,
from
of course,
GS2 during the
deployment
coast.
of ESCAPADE. And
good
here's some of the
control. All
milestones we
systems
want you to be aware
are
of
operating nominally.
over the next 20-ish minutes. All right. At the T plus 25 minute, the second stage engine.
Of course, you
will
guys. All
ignite.
right, I'm gonna
At T26,
let them finish this
we're gonna have
explainer
CO2, which is
really
that second
quick.
stage engine cutoff. And then, of course, at the T plus 33 minute mark, and that's when we finally get to see ESCAPADE deployed. They're going to deploy and separate at about 30 seconds apart. First blue separation and then gold separation. And finally, as you mentioned, Ariane, we will have at about T plus 38 minutes that Viasat Tech demonstration will turn on. But we have got one accomplishment under our belt. And as we await the second one with our mission today, I got the chance to actually catch up.
All right,
with
guys,
Dr.
what do you think? Should I keep
now,
going
she's a project
until
scientist
the
on ESCAPADE, and she explains
ESCAPADE satellites
how
deploy,
long it
or
took to get to this
should I
point
call
with
the stream
ESCAPADE
now?
and what this moment means for their missions.
Approximately 6.5 minutes remaining in the coast. These two body rates have remained stable throughout the coast and continue to see good data coming down from the vehicle. Trajectory is nominal.
You guys are very welcome. This has been fun to do.
Gina, can you kind of explain how ESCAPADE really encapsulates the past, the present, and the future?
Yes, especially working with Blue Origin. What ESCAPADE can do is tell us about what happened at Mars billions of years ago. It used to be habitable with oceans and lakes of water, but then something happened to its atmosphere. All of that water evaporated and dried up. Now we have this desert.
I totally agree, Ian.
And
Ian,
that brings
the best
us
part
to today,
was
which is that
the booster landing, but in terms of like long-term scientific value, it's really ESCAPADE that we got to watch for.
On the surface, knowing how they enter that atmosphere safely. But it's not an if, it's a when humans actually go to Mars. And that brings us to our future. And so ESCAPADE, working with a company like Blue Origin, is going to change how we get to Mars and how we protect our assets there, our robots and our crewed flight.
What is the most exciting part about being a part of this project for you?
So the thing I'm the most excited about is that this is going to change how we go to Mars. So we've never done a mission like this at NASA or really in any other part of the world. And using all of these commercial sectors where we're pushing the envelope and we're doing incredible kinds of technology to get low cost, high risk science and get our taxpayers the best bang for their buck, you can't beat that.
So can you dive in a little more and explain how both commercial and academic
now just past 20 minutes into flight, less than 5 minutes remaining in the coast.
The academic environment means you just get to think for a living. You get to think of these ideas, and this is where the theory comes in. But then the commercial partnerships, these are the experiments.
And we are now seeing tank pressures increasing in preparation for the next burn.
In academia, all of our dreams at universities happen, and NASA then enables that. So you have this like perfect 3 points of this like pyramid to do incredible and great things at places like Mars.
How long has this project been underway? I mean, when did the first...
All right, so we are awaiting stage 2 engine ignition at 25 minutes. So where are we? We got about 4 minutes until that happens. That'll definitely be a critical test. But I mean, I think, look, already this is a huge success. I mean, for Blue Origin to nail that booster landing, that's wild. And it's now very clearly up in orbit. Let's just hope we can get this stage 2 relight. While we're waiting, let's listen in for just a few more minutes for that relight.
Static. We will take every single bit of data that we can get. And again, with working with our partners, being able to get all of that data and enabling this incredible opportunity to explore not just Mars, but actually the entire trajectory there, that's science waiting to happen.
What is your message to all the collaborators who've had hands on ESCAPADE at this moment in time as you're kind of just waiting for it to deploy?
To all of our collaborators,
3 minutes remaining to engine
from the bottom of my heart. We're so excited. We can't wait to work with you. And we're going to totally change how we do things at Mars. As we get ready for launch, my final thoughts are go ESCAPADE, go Blue, and we're so happy to be here.
And we're so grateful to have you on the team.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
I mean, I think Blue is just going to keep going back to that shot of the booster on Jacqueline.
Curry. The booster there, though, on the pad. It is a moment we are still kind of taking in and processing. Ariane, you and I
buzzing.
I'm excited.
Speechless. I am trembling. My jaw is still on the desk here. An
All right, guys, we're gonna
incredible
wait
day.
for
The
this
star there.
Right.
The second
relight,
booster
and then
of
I
New
think I'm gonna
Glenn.
call it.
The stars, all 10, more than 10,000 employees here at
2
Blue
minutes remaining on
Origin.
the coast.
If you guys aren't as in shock as I am, I just, this team has done an incredible job in
Absolutely.
the years, in the months leading up to this, in the minutes. There they are.
Look at that.
That's Kent, Washington, our headquarters. Wall-to-wall
Aw.
people, by the way.
So happy for them.
To see our launch control recycle like that, to see the team flip around the rocket from a valiant attempt on Sunday, dealing with solar weather that we haven't seen in years, working closely with our customers, especially with NASA. Thank you for your patience.
All right, guys, as we get ready for this booster relight,
An incredible,
not booster
the
relight,
epitome
stage
of
2 relight, excuse me. I'm so booster focused right now. Can we just take stock of what has just happened here? I mean, not only did it land on its first real attempt, second attempt, technically, the NS New Glenn booster, but look at where it landed on the ship. I mean, it is dead in the center of that ship, a complete bullseye. And yeah, John brings up a great point. The booster was nicknamed "Don't Tell Me the Odds." You know, the odds of it landing right there in the middle where it did were so small. You guys know how hard this is to do. Like, nobody does this except for SpaceX. And like a decade ago, everybody just thought that this was science fiction. And so for this to be, you know, for this to be bullseye, take 2, Blue Origin has got to be so thrilled with this. And this is such a huge vote of confidence right now for oh, here we go. Wait, really quick, let me just listen to, are we?
It feels so similar, but it also feels so different in the sense that getting this rocket to space and to be able to reuse this booster is opening a new chapter.
Okay, it sounds like they've successfully been able to relight
It's opening a new chapter.
light the stage 2 engine. This is setting the stage for deploying the ESCAPADE payloads inside.
To have competition on the market, to bring down the cost of accessing space so that our customers, whether it's NASA, whether it's our friends at Amazon Kuiper that have signed up, whether it's Viasat.
Yes, it does.
To share this with the world.
Robo Cheerful. It has reached orbit. The question is, you know, have all the engines successfully relit? And will we have a successful separation of the ESCAPADE payloads and satellites from inside the fairing?
These organizations die on the vine unless you can reduce the cost of accessing space. And by having
Let's go full here for a second, guys.
Orbital rocket to be able to do that is huge. I cannot wait to see what this rocket looks like when we bring her back into port in just a couple of days. Bring her back to our integration facility and get a look at this beautiful rocket. What a day.
And as we take a look at GS2, right now we are approaching SECO 2, which is second engine cutoff.
All right. Let's wait for confirmation that it happened.
And we have SECO.
SECO.
SECO is confirmed.
Second engine cutoff.
On your screen, but soon we should be back and able to communicate with our ground stations, and we would have a picture for you. Right now, we are under 10 minutes until we're able to deploy ESCAPADE, and if we do that, I mean, what a birthday gift to
now
Dr.
entering
Nikki
into
Fox.
its
Yes.
final
And
coast
2
prior
for
to spacecraft
2.
separation.
So far, I'm so glad we had a shot of our Huntsville, Alabama team. They have built beautiful engines, the 7 BE4 engines that performed so wonderfully on the first stage. And now
Do we have
the 2 BE3U engines up in space? Had 2 clean burns, giving the ESCAPADE satellites a wonderful ride to where they need to go, setting them up on their trajectory to make it to Mars.
And you know what? While we wait for this epic moment coming up with ESCAPADE, let's send it back over to Eddie Safert with our crew here at Rocket Park. Eddie, I know the celebrations have.
All right, guys. So while Eddie talks about the celebrations, we've seen a lot of celebrations today. Let's do something else. What do you say? Energy says, "Hey, Kristen, me and my missus are watching you from, I can't pronounce that. Help me. In the UK, you Americans are truly inspiring space pioneers, and we're a pair of Brits who are in awe of our Yankee cousins." Well, you know what? We may have a leg up on you Brits when it comes to launches right now, but y'all can catch up. I actually went to Spaceport, Cornwall, 2 summers ago, and I was blown away. I can't wait to see, a true orbital launch attempt from there, see it on a recurring basis. Would love to see that happen. So thank you for watching. All right, guys. We're getting close to the deployment of the 2 ESCAPADE payloads. Let's just talk a bit about what this means for Blue Origin, the company. They have long been seen as, secondary to SpaceX. And, SpaceX definitely has a leg up. I mean, they're the leading global launch provider. As I said before, their competition is China, not another company at this moment. But the United States of America is desperate for some internal competition with SpaceX. They do not want to be completely reliant upon one company, especially when that one company may have different goals or objectives than the government does, right? I mean, Elon Musk has made it very clear that his goal and primary focus is Mars. That is what he built SpaceX to do. And so for NASA to only have SpaceX as the HLS, the primary HLS human landing system contract for Artemis 3, that was something that's making a lot of people in the US government a little bit nervous. And so Blue Origin, now that the acting administrator of NASA, Sean Duffy, had opened up that Artemis 3 contract, all eyes on Blue Origin. And so Blue really, this was the perfect moment for Blue to kind of step up and really show what it could do, that it truly could be capable of putting a payload in orbit, of landing a booster, of really making progress towards putting a lunar lander on the surface of the moon. And let's not forget, that is what Blue is going to try next. Because this mission has been such a success, the next mission, NS3, that is going to be when Blue attempts to land its Blue Moon lunar lander on the surface of the moon. That version of it, called the Mark 1, is not capable of carrying people or astronauts. Version 2, Mark 2, is supposed to do that. But the big question right now in Washington, where I live, is, is there a way to speed up production on the Mark 2, or somehow make it possible so that the Mark 1 is capable of, or a version of the Mark 1 is capable of carrying astronauts in case SpaceX's Starship isn't ready in time to beat China on the moon. So that's what's at stake here. That's why this booster landing and this successful mission from Blue Origin was so critical today. And I'm just, I've got a lot of friends who work at Blue, and I'm just really, really happy for them and happy for the entire space industry, because I am a firm believer that we should welcome all of this competition, even from China. If there's no competition, we get stagnant and stale and bored and complacent, and we don't do anything like America has done in terms of deep space exploration since the last Apollo mission. So I am a big fan of competition of all kinds. And I just think that what happened here today is great. All right, a few things. Let's just hop into the chat really quick, because I think we're still, gosh, we're this close. I might as well just keep it going. if we're this close to, what are we at? We're at 32 minutes and we've got deploy. Have we already deployed? Have I missed it because I've been yapping? Let me turn it back on.
That is the moment where mission objective number 2 will hopefully be coming
Now
to
coming
fruition.
up on 33 minutes into flight.
Guys, did I miss it? Did I miss the deployment of the first escapade because I was talking?
Remaining stable, leading into the separation event.
Let's
Standing by
see.
for spacecraft set. And we have good indication of Escapade Blue.
Oh, look at that.
Payload separation confirmed.
Wow.
Go Blue.
All right, so there is
Second payload
one
coming
part
up, as we mentioned,
of the escapade
just about a couple of
payloads,
seconds
one
more
of
here.
two. Second one coming.
Standing by for spacecraft 2 set.
Oh, beautiful live shot from over 700
Escapade
miles
Gold
in
separation
space.
confirmed.
And Gold has separated.
And Gold has separated too.
Congratulations, Escapade. Both Blue and Gold have successfully deployed. We have successfully landed the booster, and we have successfully deployed both the Blue and Gold satellites for Escapade.
2 for 2. There goes our robotic vehicle that is securing the GS1 onto the Jacqueline.
That's right.
Absolutely spectacular. Escapade, you are headed to Mars. And so there you go. Our automated robotic vehicle. To be very clear, we didn't clarify this earlier. There are no people on the Jacqueline right now. It's just that robotic vehicle that is going around the rocket, making sure that we definitely,
We're safing the vehicle.
We're safing the vehicle and making sure that those landing legs are pegged down. The seas are nice and calm today. It was a rough ride the last couple of days out there. But of course, we want to make sure that our 200-foot tall rocket out there on the Jacqueline is nice. And there it goes. Is nice and
Look at that.
And shortly after, we will of course have the Harvey.
All right,
Stone,
guys,
which is
I'm
the boat
going
that has our
to
team out there.
turn them down a bit.
And we will put our team up there as well as soon as the rocket.
Okay, guys, I'm going to get to some of your comments really quick, and then we're going to wrap this up. Thomas says, can't beat Bezos. You remain unprofitable on purpose for 10 to 15 years just to keep growing Amazon. I mean, what I would say there is that I think a lot of people don't realize just how much money Bezos has personally invested in Blue Origin. You know, this is... I just can't stress enough how much personally he has invested in Blue, much like Elon did with SpaceX. But SpaceX now has much more in terms of, you know, government contracts than Blue does. So a lot personally at stake. Even when you're worth billions and billions of dollars, you're still going to feel the billions that you have invested into a company like Blue Origin. So good for Jeff Bezos, and really he should be commended for what he and his company have been able to do today. Let's see. Robo Cheerful says, am I saying that? Rob Cheerful, Robo Cheerful. There's great value in their patient approach, amazing success on their second launch. Yeah, you know, Rob, I just think that, you know, so much time, focus, and attention has been placed on SpaceX because of their rapid iterative development and how quickly and successfully they have been able to dominate not just the American launch market, but the global launch market. And clearly there is a tremendous amount of pros in that approach. Blue has always done things slowly. You know, its critics would say that they've done it too slowly. But when you look at the success that they have had with New Glenn 1 and New Glenn 2, the first two flights of this massive rocket, for them to land a booster on that ship on the second flight, you know, that slow and steady approach, while it definitely has its detractors, certainly pays off on a day like today. And it's another reason why NASA was willing to trust them with a valuable payload like ESCAPADE on a second mission, right? I mean, just a second mission that this rocket has ever flown. When a customer is vetting out which rocket launcher they want to go with, do you really want to go with the one that is on? Do you really want to go with the one that's only had one successful test flight? So, it says a lot there that NASA was willing to trust them for this launch. All right, guys. I am going to, I think we're going to call it. We're going to say goodbye to our friends at Blue Origin. Goodbye, Ariane Cornell. Goodbye, Tabitha. I thought I did a great job of hosting this webcast. And I just want to say thanks to all of you for watching. Notes taken. I will not do a dual live stream again where I split it into vertical and horizontal. Lesson learned. And thank you for watching. And I'm going to be doing this a lot more often. So I hope you'll tune in. Thank you so much. Go Blue Origin. Really proud of you guys, and can't wait to see you guys launch Blue Moon to the moon with New Glen's next flight and NG-3. All right, see you guys.